What is up everyone, it is Sajambi and welcome back to another video. Delusional Office is the next room style game to gain notoriety, with big creators picking this one up to amplify its exposure. It essentially works like Doors and Pressure on steroids, with you needing to go through 365 rooms to reach the true ending of the game. As you may expect, you'll need to get past all of the entities, with Delusional Office going overboard with 34 entities in total at time of recording. In this video, we'll be going through the 25 main entities which you can find from start to finish. So this is EN 1 to 19, plus the variants of ENs 1 to 5 and EN 8. Strap yourselves in because this could be a long one. We will go in numerical order, beginning with EN 1 and Red. EN 1 is the game's version of Rush or Angler and is the simplest one to understand. Lights flicker and then you'll have a short period to enter a safe zone. This can be in a locker, behind a wall or out of range. Red will then come through in a straight line from door to door and getting caught will result in instant death. Train operates in a similar manner but with multiple versions of the same entity coming through in succession. Each section of the train deals 30 damage, so being hit 4 times is guaranteed to kill you. A long encounter overall, so you may need to find a spot out of range or enter a locker at the last second to outlast the full sequence. For EN3, you'll need to have your sound on since the indicator that it's approaching is a distinct jingle and you'll need to enter the usual safe zone before it passes through. Listen out for it because as soon as it speaks and turns the edges of your screen blue, it may already be too late. Speaking of late, EN4 is here, but not exactly on time. It appears like a regular EN1 attack, but there is a long delay of around 15 seconds between the lights flickering and it passing through. It will speak before it attacks, so you have a brief warning before it actually comes through, but it's best to wait and take note of your nearest locker if you suspect that it's coming. Appearing after door 50, the rebounder moves back and forth for a prolonged period of time, getting quicker the more times it returns. Its trail deals minor damage, but if in a locker, you will need to leave and re-enter it, which risks collision where it deals the major damage. The best way to deal with this one is to be out of range and wait it out, and use heals to counter the damage from its trails. EN6 works in the reverse way to those mentioned previously and forces you to stay out of lockers as it passes by. It may sound menacing initially, but if there are no other entities approaching, you can simply ignore this one and continue on as normal. Back to the entities you need to hide from, and Vision comes through and forces you to use a locker since it can attack through walls if in range. Its range is slightly larger, but in a large enough room away from its path, you can still dodge it by creating enough distance. Despite this, the easiest way is still to hide in a locker. Limbo works in a similar way to EN7 with the extra added step of the minigame that it triggers when it catches you. Here, you'll need to memorize and keep track of a key which moves around along with 5 others. I find following it with my cursor a simple way to track where it goes. Select the right key to continue, but picking any of the others will end your run immediately. Spawning after door 100, Hand gives you little warning outside of flickering the lights, with it relentlessly chasing you down and taking you to its prison when it finally catches you. You'll need to navigate this area's pitfalls by jumping from platform to platform. Falling from this area or taking too long will mean an instant end, but you do have plenty of time, so charging your double jump and using that to navigate is an easy way to survive this encounter. Yet another entity which flickers the lights before attacking, but this time everything goes dark before it comes through. It's best to stay close to a locker once Blinder talks, since it becomes difficult to navigate once the lights go out. All of the same rules apply to avoid this one, it's just the lack of vision which catches you out. One of the more common entities that you will come across and a simple one to understand. Delusions begin to appear if you remain in the dark for too long, and looking at one will distort your vision and apply 13 damage. Once returning to the light or making progress, they'll begin to fade away. Onto EN12, which is a major entity that appears every 50 rooms. Ghost has 4 different attacks which appear mostly at random, with different colours requiring different actions. See purple, look behind you. Spam space if you see green, crouch and stay still at blue, and hide in a locker when you see orange, with this one guaranteed to appear every 4th attack. Ghost will despawn once you go through the next door. There isn't much known about EN13 except its effects and how to beat it. The unknown will stun your character before you begin a minigame where you need to type stay calm, stay focused in a short amount of time to continue. Failing to do so will result in death, but if you simply type it out, then you should have no worries. EN14, known as the Watcher, spawns exclusively in R182, marking the halfway point of your journey. It appears as a star before turning into a nova, with its light proving fatal if you get too close. It has a small range, which turns red before inflicting large amounts of damage if you remain in range. Having a surface between you will guarantee safety, but they will despawn after a while, allowing you to plot a path to safety. EN15's Chaser is guaranteed to spawn every so often after door 50, where it will follow a player until it either catches you or despawns after 10 seconds. You are faster than it in a straight line, but it deals a disastrous 85 damage, so make sure you are prepared with enough health should you get blocked by a locked door or a challenge. Otherwise, running around a large room is the safest way to outlast the clock. Spawning after the halfway point, the Stalker appears in the form of an eyeball, and you need to stare it down in order to survive. Once spotting one, the Stalker will appear in another area around you, so you need to continuously look around for around 30 seconds or so. Failing to spot one in time will inflict damage on you, averaging around 40 HP. Door campers are one of the more common entities and appear in the windows of unlocked doors. You'll need to avoid walking through a door with one present, since it will disorientate you and deal 40 damage. You simply need to wait in front of a door for it to disappear, and then you can continue on as normal. While not a threat by itself, the Summoner can bring a lot of its colleagues to the party, resulting in a frantic and sometimes deadly attack if you're unable to find safety. It can only spawn in clown rooms, which is what you see on screen, so throughout most of the game it's not something you need to be overly concerned about. EN19 is another one of the major challenges which you will come across throughout your run. You'll know that Delman is coming as you'll walk into a warehouse with red crystal spikes around the room which you need to unlock. However, it can spawn at any time in the game, indicated by high-pitched laughing and the sound of crystals spawning. You can surpass Delman by either advancing 7 rooms or surviving for 77 seconds. Delman releases spikes through each room, filling your screen with text, or by unleashing up to 7 EN1s in succession. Onto the entity variants now, which take the qualities of their main version and ups the ante. We start this section with the variant of red. Orange works in a similar way, with it passing through following lights flickering and a short delay. In addition, orange will spray ketchup on your screen before its attack, obscuring your vision, which fades away once the sequence is over. The edges of your screen are covered, but you can still see around to find your nearest safe spot. Another variant which works in a similar way to its main form, the B train, is slightly longer and applies error messages to your screen which you need to cross out to regain your vision. You will need to get into a locker even later than its main form, but it's still survivable within one locker, but remaining out of range is still a viable option. EN3-2 comes through very quickly after playing a similar but noticeably different jingle. As it approaches, light speed brightens your vision and leaves a trail for a short period that can damage and kill you. Once again, listening out and staying by a locker is best practice here, but don't leave it as soon as it passes by, wait for the trail to fade away too. Very Late takes the concept of EN4 and takes it further into the extreme. Lights still flicker, but its delay before attacking is much longer, approaching 30 seconds, with it also blurring vision and slowing nearby players as it passes by. With a very wide range, even if it isn't close enough to kill, it's difficult to not at least be affected. You may want to wait for a short period for the blur and slow to dissipate. 5-2 is a variant of Rebounder which spawns after R225, so in the final third of the game. It takes the chaos of its main version and ramps it up to max gear, becoming faster and rebounding more times than its main version. Once again, using a locker may be the safest thing to do, but it can be tiresome to leave and re-enter all the time. Being out of range is the best way to consistently avoid the entity and its trail. Our final entity for this video skips to EN8-2 as we encounter True Limbo. For this one, you will need to be faster to enter the locker before it passes through, and the minigame is much faster, making it quite tough to keep track. This one only spawns after R285, so in the very last push to the end, so unless you're really unlucky, you may only need to complete this challenge once, if at all. And that completes the extensive list of main entities that you'll come across in Delusional Office. With that being said, there are 10 more rare and special entities which can be found under specific circumstances, and we can look at those in a future video. With all that info, I'm wishing you the very best of luck in completing the game, and a massive thank you for making it this far into the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and share with those who will find this useful. As always, you can subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss a future video, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!